So here we are, we're approaching the end of the year. I'm sure we're all ready for that. So we have class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The following week, we will have it on the 20. Oh, this day we actually have no school. This is Memorial Day, so no school. And so then I would see you on that Wednesday, Friday again. This day it turns out to be even, and then you guys have your finals here, okay? This is absolutely the last day of school. Other important things, this is going to be the last day to turn in some work. So turn in your work here. Okay, again, every teacher is different, so just kind of pay attention for that. What I'm going to do is we're going to do a couple, I'm just going to do one video here, and then I'm going to start you guys on your study guide on this day for your final. So you're going to have a study guide for your final, a study guide for your final, a study guide for your final. We're going to do 3 days of the study guide, and then I'm going to give you guys your final. Also, this is a good chance to catch up. There is no homework this week. Like the homework week classes, we just have the math videos that we're doing, okay? So make sure that you guys realize you're at the end of school. Make sure you are caught up in my class. Make sure you are caught up in your other classes. Okay, and don't write any of this down. Okay. All right, so what are we doing today? Today we are doing notes. You actually finished up all your arithmetic notes, all your geometric notes. You guys already tested. So we're just adding different things here and there. Take a minute, copy all of this down, hit the pause button, and then once you're ready, hit the play button again. Okay. Solving inequalities, you know, this is the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. What you do with solving inequalities, you just solve it the same way as an equation. And if you multiply or divide by a negative, you reverse your sign. So the first one, we're just going to do exactly the way we do. -7 from both sides. Divide by 3. X is less than 10. Now, sometimes they want you to graph it. So we're going to go ahead and graph it as a reminder. So we have X less than 10. Well, that's how I say it. But if I think about it, I always put my alligator teeth. What is bigger, the 10 or the X? Okay, the 10 is bigger because it's eating the 10. In other words, you always want to know what X is, if X is greater or if X is less than. In this case, X is less than. So on a number line, we're going to plot a point at 10. Open circle. X is less than, so these are values all smaller than 10. So your solutions would be like 9 is less than 10, 8, 0, everything on the left side. Next problem, same thing, we're going to go ahead and solve. So add 2 to both sides. Keep your inequality sign. Instead of an equal sign, it's just your inequality. Divide by -5. When you divide by a -5, you have to remember to reverse your inequality. So rule says if you multiply or divide by a negative, you reverse your inequality symbol. So this now becomes -5 divided by -5 is +1 or just X. Reverse your inequality symbol. -5 divided by 40 is -8. There's your answer. And how do you read that? X is less than or equal to -8. On a number line, what does that look like? So it's going to be the same thing. So we plot it at, maybe we can do 0 and do -8. And again, in this case, do the alligator teeth. It's the same as the top one. -8 is greater, so x is smaller. So this is a closed circle at -8. And you're shading to the left. Okay. Now, one important thing to note is that sometimes teachers tell you to shade the way that the arrow is pointing. Oh, it looks like that works. That's not true. So you have to be careful. Let's do another one. Let's squeeze in a problem right here. You see that? Let's do, all right, in this problem, it's already solved, so we're just going to go ahead and graph it. Well, on this problem, we have 4 is less than x. Okay, that's how you read it. X is less than 10, x is less than or equal to -10, 8, 4 is less than x. But when you go to graph it, if I put my alligator teeth on here, is x greater than 4 or less than 4? Because our shading is always going off of the x. Oh, it's eating the x. So that means that x is greater. Oh, if x is greater, that means open circle and shade this way. So yes, you can read it the same way all the time. How these signs are, x is less than 10, x is less than or equal to -8, 4 less than x. But when you go to the shading is dependent on the x. Values are smaller here or less than, so you're going to shade to the smaller side. Values are smaller here or less than, so you're going to shade to the left side. Here, x is greater, so you're going to shade to the right side. Okay? All right. So we're still going with the video. Again, a little bit longer, but we're just doing one video instead of two. You can just flip this paper over and do it on the back side. Take this, copy this down, pause the video, and then once you're ready, hit play again. Exponents. Next year, we didn't really do too much with exponents, but next year they're going to expect that you know how to do exponents. So here we go. There's maybe about 5 different rules. Today we're only doing one rule. It says, if you have the same base, okay, if this is an x and an x, the same base, then all you have to do is add the exponents when you're multiplying. So if you're multiplying, then the rule is you add the exponents. So here you have x to the third times x to the fourth. This really means you have 3 x's and 4 x's. Don't draw it out. I mean, you could for your notes, but all the rule says is if you're multiplying these, then you're just going to go ahead and add it. So this is x to the 7th. And that's a 7 right there. This one is the same thing. 2 x's, 1 x. Oh, this, if there is no exponent there, it's an implied 1. So this is now x cubed. Add the exponents. This one's the same, so we're just going to add the exponents. I'm not going to draw them anymore. So this is x to what power? Good, the 6th power. Now, I can't add all of these exponents. Those two have the same base, so I'm going to add the x's, and then these two are y's, so I'm going to add the y's. Because you're combining your bases. So x and x is 6, y and y is 4. This one, the same thing, same base, add the exponents, 6 plus -1. here, well, first let's simplify this. 5 squared is 25. X to the 4th and y to the 3rd, those are not the same bases. Because they are not the same bases, you cannot combine them. If they are not the same bases, they don't combine, they just stay. Okay, the next one, clean it up. So same thing, this is 4 squared is 4 times 4, so that's 16 times a 3. 16 times 3, 48, I think. Yeah. And then x to the 7th and x squared. Well, this x is going to combine with which one? That one. So this is x to the 9th. You're adding the exponents. Y cubed doesn't combine with anything, so it stays. I like exponents because it's kind of a quick math, but it's easy to get right, easy to get wrong. Okay, next problem. This one's kind of ugly. So we have, I could do 4 squared and 4 cubed, but because it's the same base, I could say, oh, it's 4 to the 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. I'm going to plug 4 to the 5th into my calculator. $1,024. X combines with this x, so that's x to the 12th. 5 plus 7. A to the 4th doesn't combine with anything, and y cubed. This is your answer. One other thing is, if you have all these variables, they usually like their answer with the variables in alphabetical order. So this is correct, but it's a little bit nicer if you write it a to the 4th, x to the 12th, and y cubed. All right, that's it. Thank you.